Now, while you were in school, the Little Rock Nine was going on. I was wondering, were you affected by the Little Rock Nine? Or?
Oh yeah, because first of all, those were turbulent times. It's interesting. Orville Forbes was governor, and I remember when he went to the airways to block the school, he said the racial patterns in the school would remain as they were previously. Well, the university graduate school had already been integrated. So that said in a subtle way that won't change, but nothing new is going to occur. And of course, when the students tried to enter, he took the National Guard, the state National Guard, and blocked the children. And of course, President Eisenhower was no great supporter, in my view, of civil rights, but he understood constitutional law. He knew it was absolutely necessary that the Constitution be followed, that the government can be dissolved. So then he simply federalized the Guard. And so these soldiers who had bayonets pointed towards the children to keep them out of the schools had to turn around and now turn the bayonets on the people who were trying to block them in. And so the students went in. And their first graduate was Ernest Green, who's in Washington now. And it was interesting. I got a call from Mrs. Daisy Bates. This was in 1958. That all the Little Rock stuff was in '57. And then as the school year moved on, they had a special commencement address for Ernest Green. He was the only senior in the group. And they got Dr. Martin Luther King to give the address. So Mrs. Bates called me and said, Dr. King is coming. Would you like to go out to the airport with me to meet him? And I had finished all my exams. So I said, yeah, it'd be fine. So I went out, and we went by her house, and I spent almost an hour with Dr. King, just the two of us, one-on-one, in her living on the sofa, talking about our days at Morehouse. He was a Morehouse graduate, and a lot of other things. And very interesting man. He had a sense of humor. He could laugh when it was appropriate, but he was a very serious and deep thinker. And the best thing about the whole Little Rock thing, I witnessed the 101st Airborne come across the Arkansas River Bridge to come in and really bring order back to the city when people were just doing these children so badly. But here again, these are people trying to hold on to power.
Yeah.
This is about jobs, about money, about power. And the opposition knew that education is the way that you make it, because young people forget in this country, even black people forget, I think, that when you are poor and ignorant, your color becomes irrelevant. If you're white, poor, ignorant, you're in deep trouble. The system may be easier, but there are a lot of things that we, I think, need to be doing that we aren't doing as people, but I'll get to that maybe later.
Okay. And talking about Dr. Martin Luther King, what words of advice did he give you when you all were...
I think it was body language. I don't think there were words, but his body language said to me, if you believe in something, you have to stand steadfast and fight for it. That was, but he didn't give me any specific advice, but his body language told me a lot, and just the inflections in his voice, and his focus.
All right.
And about 90% of communication is nonverbal.
Sure.